Have you noticed a drastic drop in your engagement on Facebook, on Instagram? Well, stay tuned. We're going to share with you why that's happening and what to do about it.
Hey, John and Nadia Melton here. We are home business and lifestyle experts, and we teach average people how to create an above average income utilizing social media platforms. And in today's episode, we're really excited because we're going to dissect exactly why you're seeing that drastic change in your engagement on Facebook and or Instagram, and some things that you can do to get ahead of it, right? So we're going to teach you really the strategy, how you could be more optimized, right? From this point moving forward. So as an entrepreneur, there's no dead activities that you're operating inside your business.
And it's so crucial to get engagement. Why? Because engagement leads to conversation. Conversation leads to relationship building, prospecting efforts. You'll generate more leads, right? Your whole goal on social media is to have more connections, more conversations, and eventually more conversions to sell your product or share your opportunity. So engagement counts. It does matter. Yeah. Now, of course, we want real engagement. The whole clickbait thing doesn't work anymore, where you're like, drop into the comments if you're interested in my business opportunity. That stuff doesn't work. But even some of the more engaged content that typically would get a ton of likes, a ton of comments, doesn't get what it used to, right? Things have changed. And part of that is because people are spread thin now, meaning they don't just go to the newsfeed on Facebook.
Right.
There's different platforms. All of these platforms are now embracing video or even live video, and even on just one platform. Look at Instagram. There's IGTV.
Right.
There's Instagram stories. There's Instagram live.
So if you have 100 followers, where before a couple years ago, all they had to do to see what you're up to was come to your newsfeed. But now to follow you, they're gonna go see your story or your newsfeed, or maybe you did a live video, maybe you have highlights. Now Facebook is following suit. Now there's Facebook stories, and here's what we know, the stats is that this year stories are going to crush the newsfeed, right? It's taken over basically. You have that, and then Facebook also is putting groups front and center. There's also live video. I think Facebook is trying to do this whole Netflix with watch parties. So we want you to know that, listen, it is completely normal if you're noticing that a piece of content that maybe you posted a year, 2-3 years ago would get hundreds of likes, but now it's getting a fraction.
Just know that there's not necessarily just this one way to do things.
Right.
In fact, we think stories are going to completely take over. A lot of the research says it. We get more views, we notice, on stories than we used to ever before.
I did a post a couple days ago on Facebook, and when you go to post on Facebook now, it gives you a choice to also add it to your story. And I did that. And within 24 hours, that post inside my story had over 900 views. Within 72 hours, that same post on my newsfeed got about 200 likes, right?
But you just pointed out, it took 72 hours. Right? A story is only 24 hours.
And it got way more attention, if you will.
And it got more views.
Right.
But you don't necessarily get all the engagement. However, you can see who is viewing.
Yes.
So you can swipe up, see who's viewing, and reach out to those people. Now, you shouldn't necessarily reach out to them just to pitch and prospect. If you follow us, you know that that's a no-no. But connecting with them, having conversations with them, seeing what they've been up to, and they might bring up the fact that they noticed one of your posts about your products or your opportunity, or maybe they actually bring up what it is you're promoting without you having to bring it up because they're watching. People are always watching. I had someone the other day tell me, you know what? My engagement is down, but when I reach out to someone, they say they see my videos, they see my posts, they were asking me about my product. So people are always watching, even if they aren't engaging like they used to.
Here's the sentence that I think we're honing in on, and that is, do not get frustrated, right? When you see that there's less likes on your newsfeed, it does not mean people are not engaging with you, they're not seeing your stuff. But what it does mean, maybe let's all add on some strategies. So let us give you some tips on how you can really optimize the current atmosphere that we're noticing right now on Instagram and Facebook.
And here's our solution. Number one, get more familiarized with using stories. Instagram stories, Facebook stories.
Post at least once a day to your story because it's gonna create that circle around your profile picture. And when people first visit your profile, they're gonna click on that and they're gonna check it out. And it's kind of like that behind the scenes, like BFF vibe. So it's the guard is way less down. And I think it's just really powerful for you to put that into play like ASAP.
I do an Instagram story. That's how I record what it is I want to post, a video, a picture, whatever it is, and then I have it automatically convert over to Facebook. Some people are doing it natively right there on their Facebook story, meaning they're not even using Instagram. They don't even have an Instagram account. They don't use Insta stories. So what works for us might not necessarily work for you, but just start playing with different modalities. Don't be so romantic with it has to be Facebook newsfeed, because we know that it's getting less and less engagement. We know that people are spread out with their attention. Your goal is to create conversation, and it is neat because with stories, you can post way more.
Right.
You could post 5, 10, 15 times, maybe more. Look, you could do one video in your story that's broken up into little 15-second segments, because that's how it kind of works on the stories. And it could be a 2-minute video, but it's broken up into these little segments, and it could end up being like 10 stories, even though it's really just a 2-minute video. I hope that makes sense, but it's really cool because you can see who's watching.
I love that. I think this is my favorite part, especially if you are in network marketing. It's a gold mine because you could really see who those hot leads are. You can identify your lifers. You could follow them. You could see what they're into. You could be more like optimized and strategic with the content you create by studying your audience. But here's what I will tell you. For those of you that are watching this going, dude, I've never done a story. I don't even know what to say, or what do I do? What should be how do I think through creating content for a story? Because for me, it took a couple of weeks of just playing with it to figure it out. Now we do have some gorgeous blog posts on our blog. If you're watching this training right now on our blog, just go check it out under Instagram marketing for more strategy on how to create your story content workflow.
I'll tell you what's also pretty cool. Using questions, using polls, where you're asking for the engagement. You're asking questions, or you're letting them ask you questions, or giving them two options. Do you want to lose weight now, or do you want to start losing weight tomorrow? And it could be like a funny question, but if you're selling a weight loss product, anybody that says now or tomorrow, you're inboxing them, right? You're shooting them a message. Hey, Sarah, what's up? And don't just go, hey, Sarah, here's my link and here's my weight loss product. No. Find out Sarah's goals. Find out what Sarah's been up to. Check out her story. Check out what she's been posting. Look, we all want more engagement, and we've been teaching this for 5, 6, 7 years now. If you want more engagement, it's the law of reciprocity. Give more engagement. One challenge that we've noticed is the engagement also in Facebook groups, our business page, just in general, like places that are pretty important where people are like, oh, I missed this post or I missed this update. And we want to give you a solution for that as well.
I do want to give you a solution for that. Here's what you got to do is you got to educate your super fans, your lifers, your team on how to update their notification settings. As an example, inside Facebook groups, and this is universal for everybody, they just changed the notifications to highlights. And whatever Facebook thinks it's a highlight inside the group is what they're gonna alert your members of the group. But if you educate them on, hey, go into your notifications and update it for all posts, see how now you're being proactive about that. Same with a business page. If you do have a business page on Facebook, you could be educating on that as well. but that's really going to help you. Why this is happening? It's because there is a lot of inventory on Instagram and Facebook, and it's only going to get busier. But here's the good news, right? Honestly, I think the biggest secret to all these different tactics and stuff that we can talk to you about, the foundation is going to be consistency. If you consistently show up and you consistently, do your value proposition, you inspire, you educate, you entertain, right? And you're being your authentic self, you're going to build up your pool of lifers that are going to follow you regardless, right? So the foundation always, always, always is consistency.
Yes, and valuable content. Right? You want more engagement? You have to find ways to create something that people want to engage with. Whether it's a live video, whether it's a question post, right? A story, right? We notice story posts get a lot of engagement, but a lot of people are doing those too. So anytime something is working effectively, more and more people are going to jump on the bandwagon, which means there's going to be more competition, which means you got to get better. Don't be bitter, get better.
I love it.
And know that ultimately there's still people on social media now more than ever. People are spending more time on social media. It's just their attention has been divided up with all the different modalities. It's not a bad thing. It's just looking at it differently and going, okay, how can I get better? What worked a year ago probably won't work today, and what works today probably won't work a year from now. But if you're showing up, like Nadia said, consistently providing value, you show up with authenticity, that's always going to do well on the social media platforms. And meanwhile, you're on the back end building those relationships.
So I want you to think about your content, and really every day you show up and you gotta have fun with it. Like, I know marketing can be really scientific and there's like best practices and here's what's happening with the algorithm and here's what you ought to do. But at the same time, this is your brand and this is your flavor.
That's
and this
right.
is how you love to engage with people.
Do your thing.
And you really gotta just follow your gut. Like, you gotta have fun with it. You gotta experiment with it. And the beautiful thing is, if you experiment and it like fails, you just delete it and you learn from it and you do more of what works for you. You eliminate what it is that doesn't, but you keep evolving. All right, now let us scooch over and we're gonna wrap it up with this tip for you. And I love this tip, and that is encourage to engage. Now, I do wanna tell you this. If you're doing Facebook Lives and you go, hey, drop me the word replay if you're watching this on a replay, or drop me the word live if you're watching this live, I want you to now think about how can you give them an action step that's actually encouraging conversation. Instead of saying, drop me the word replay, say, hey, if you're watching this on a replay, let me know what's your number one goal right now when it comes to XYZ. And that's the topic you're talking about. Find CTAs, those call to actions or calls to comment, something that's going to create a meaningful conversation, which is what Facebook wants. This is what Instagram wants. And when you're diligent about engaging people meaningfully, you'll notice the algorithm is going to give you more exposure.
Just finding ways to engage with the people viewing, even if it's on a replay, that's fine. If you're asking questions, people tend to want to answer questions versus you just talking at them, not asking for the engagement, not asking for the call to comment, not asking them to reach out to you. People are like, what should my call to action be? Say, if you'd like to discuss this in further detail, send me a private message.
See?
It's not that
simple.
It's not that difficult.
No.
Drop a comment and I'll reach out to you. Especially when you have a smaller audience, it's a lot easier when you first get started.
Get excited about that. I know, we all want that huge audience, but the truth is, we know there are influencers out there that have a huge audience, but they don't really make a whole lot of money. So it's not a popularity contest.
It's true.
You can make a solid 6-figure income, even a 7-figure income, if you curate that gorgeous audience, and it doesn't matter how big it is. Like I'm telling you, we ought to delete that I need a big audience syndrome, because it's simply not true.
We hope you got value from today's episode. Make sure you subscribe. If you have other burning questions regarding building your business on Facebook, on social media, drop it to the comments and let us know, and maybe we will cover your question in a future episode.
Yay! Till next time, go crush it!